Let's do this! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another pencil drawing tutorial. Sorry I haven't made one in a while. It's been kind of hectic here. As you can see, started out with kind of a crazy, really sloppy drawing fire here. It's going to look good by the end, don't worry about it. Today we're going to do some visible light sources. These are actually quite tough to figure out when you first start drawing. Really, there's several ways to do it. I'm going to go through as many as possible, as quick as possible. The first one is probably the least effective. This one you really have to sell with the items around it. The way you shade, like for instance the rocks on the fire pit at the bottom. I'll get to that in a second. But what you want to do is you want to go from dark to light from the outside to the in. As you can see, I darken the outline. I did a neat little layered fire. Adds a little kind of a three-dimensional, two-dimensional effect to it. I don't know. It's just kind of nifty for me. I don't know. If you just do a single, it's hard to show depth in fire because it's going to be very fuzzed out. I'm going to use a smudging technique to keep it well, in this case it's a blur technique for if you're using a tablet on the computer, you use the blur. But anyway, you darken in the outline of the fire. Have little cinders here popping off of it. It doesn't have to be terribly clean because remember it's going to be fuzzy. Fire is fuzzy. It's kind of ethereal. So what you want to do is from the outside to the end, make the outside line the darkest line, and shade inwards, always keeping the center as light as possible. So you're going to want to grade the white fairly quickly. What you want to do is go around all the edges, and this is my scribble line shading. No real texture to it. It's going to be blurred out. You're not going to notice it anyway. So from outside to in, as you can see, I did not spend much time paying attention to the shape of the fire. It's not going to matter too much, but fire always has little curls. Actually, that's kind of neat looking. I'll do that. I'll use that one for the next shading style. But anyway, you go dark to light, outside to in. I'm darkening these rocks down here. These are going to be solid, and they're going to be what you compare. Oh my God, my cat's after something. He is chasing a bug. Good kitty. Hope it's one of those stink bugs. I hope he tortures it. We got stink bugs like crazy around here. I don't know what's going on. We are infested. But anyway, I'll draw a little grass around the fire pit. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Anyway, dark to light, outside to in. And this will create your illusion that the fire is bright. Now, as you can see, I'm doing this really sloppy because I'm going to be using the smudging cheat as a... Wow, he's really going after that thing. I'm going to use the smudging cheat to smooth it out and make it look pretty. Yeah, it's been crazy for me lately. Very busy at work, and trying to get some writing done on my next book. So I apologize for not releasing any videos here lately. It's something I plan to rectify in the near future. Okay, let's make the outline just a little bit darker. Darkest outline on the outside. And there we go. Almost ready. Now remember, this is real quick. Obviously, you're going to want to put more time and thought into your drawing. But we'll smooth this out so that it looks kind of ethereal. And don't forget the cinders. Smudging, of course, it's going to take you a little bit longer to smooth it out. Luckily, I have the benefit of technology on my side. But then again, I kind of need the technology because who wants to sit through a super long tutorial? Well, anybody who's watched any of my other ones. My tutorials are a little too long, and I'm going to try to make them shorter and more to the point because I repeat myself a little too much. Come on. No, I don't want the... Stop that. As you can see, I still haven't mastered this tablet. I haven't been working on it much. Okay, as you can see, dark to light, out to in. That's one way of selling a visible light source in your drawing. The best way to make this one look better is to make sure to oh, you can kind of see the rock ring behind it. Let's add some kind of blurred out. Oh, I tapped it twice. It's gonna pop up the toolbar again. Don't tap it twice. Let's blur those out so that you can't tell. All right, get my eraser, clean up my hairy rocks here. It's just my drawing style. I have to do a lot of cleanup when I try to work fast because I use a really sketchy line. But once again, luckily I have technology on my side. This tablet is awesome. It's a bamboo tablet for those of you who had a couple people ask what kind of tablet I use on my computer. It's bamboo. They make an excellent tablet. The more expensive ones, I don't know if the tablets are better, but they come with better software. So this one was $100, and it came with some pretty decent software to use to draw things like this. What I'm using right now, which I think is Autodesk Sketchbook Express, which is the sketching software I'm using. But as you can see, you sell this fire with your cast shadows, with your shading. That's gonna make it look brighter, and the fact that it's all ethereal and stuff like that. You can even add some smoke and shade the smoke out to in. Blur that out. I tapped it twice. Why do I keep doing that? There we go. All right. And I keep pressing the button on the pen too, which is not helping. But anyway, that's one way to make a visible light source. You darken it from out to in. You darkest on the outside, lightest in the middle, and that will make it look like a bright light source. And make sure to shade everything appropriately around it. Like for instance, if there was something sitting right here, I don't know, a box. You would want to shade the box like that is like the light source is affecting it, like the fires is lighting it. Throw a little cast shadow behind it. And if you're wondering about the different levels of shading, I do have a tutorial on shading. I think it's the third in the playlist, the drawing playlist. All of my drawing tutorials are in a single playlist on my channel. Dreamers Nights, I don't know the address. But anyway, I'm sure I'm sure if you're familiar with YouTube, you can find it fairly easily. I could spend all day touching this up, and I'm not gonna, because I want to show you a different method of a visible light source. And we're going to do that with this one right here, this little sketch of a fire I just drew. Once again, we'll put a little We'll put a little fire pit under it, some little hairy rocks, and this one, once again, you darken the outline. And you want the outline fairly dark on this one. You're still going to use some smudging to make it look a little less solid, a little more ethereal. And we'll neaten up the rocks there. Okay. In this one, we're going to shade outwards from the fire. And this is an interesting way to do it. Usually you use something like this for a really bright light source in a dark area, because this is usually I usually use this on a really energetic light source, something that's I really want to kind of, I don't know, it really just is determined by the style of the drawing and the placement of the light source as to what I'll choose. You could just experiment, try which one you like the best, but you shade away from the light source. You start dark at its borders and you shade away from it, and this will create a nice little stylized bright light source, and it's less dependent on the things around it in order to make it look bright. Remember, the brightest color you have when you're drawing with pencil is the page. That's the brightest you can make something is white. So you have to make everything around it look darker. And as you see, as you shade away from this, that central light looks a lot brighter. It's just an illusion. That's what all drawing is. You're creating an illusion. So we'll smooth it out, make it look a little more ethereal. A little less solid. I keep the rock solid down there, and we'll put a couple faint rocks. And this looks like a much brighter light source when you use this technique. But then again, it can also it's hard to use when you have a lot of detailed background, because you're basically shading air. So when you start shading air, it throws things out of whack just a little bit when you have a detailed background, because you have other things that you want to shade. And if you have very detailed background, I would suggest using this technique over here, because well, like I said, it doesn't shade the air. So here we go. We're shading some rocks around it. Put a little grass in. And that is the second way to draw a visible light source. And the third way is very similar to this one. We will just draw, I don't know, let's just draw a tree. Yeah, a nice simple tree. We'll make a little poofy branches on top. Get out of my way, brushes. But anyway, and let me know, guys, in the comments below if you like, or if these tutorials are helpful. I don't know if people are just curious about them and check them out. They do seem to be pretty popular on my channel. But I don't know if people are just checking them out and they don't like them, or they checking them out and they like them and they're helpful. Just let me know. And if you see something I can improve on, like not repeating so much, Yeah, just let me know. Well, we're going to have a light source in the middle of this tree, so I'm going to shade outside to in. This is a very sketchy tree because the point I'm going to make is with the fire that's going to be in front of it. Oh wow, that was bad. And I don't even know what went crazy there. All right, let's erase that. All right. And this last light source is most similar to painting, actually, because you're not actually going to... Let's draw some bark lines. Okay, that is the ugliest tree ever, but it will make my point. Let's draw some grass in front of it. Okay, because this is... Basically, that tree is just there because I need something in the background. So, here's how you... The last technique to draw a visible light source, in this case, you draw it out with your eraser. You draw out your flame by having an absence of flame, and then you shade accordingly around it. This one's the hardest to pull off because you have to have a background to do it in, and then you very lightly, because you don't really want lines around it when you do this. Oh, I guess we need the rock pile, because all the other ones had a rock pile. We shouldn't do this one. I am not very practiced at this technique because well, I've never really had to use it, but I have seen it used where you just white out everything around your light source, and then you shade appropriately. I think I was a little too generous with the darkness on the tree. And it doesn't make the light source look bright enough. Anyway, you have to shade appropriately to make that one work, and I'm not very practiced at it, so I'm not sure I can make it useful to you guys. So maybe I should just scrap that from the tutorial altogether. And I really hate that tree. I really hate that tree. Okay, it's gonna go. It's gonna die. Die, tree! Die! Die! Burn! Oh, it's gonna burn. We're gonna burn it with light sources. Yeah. Yeah, we'll burn it with the techniques that I'm good at. There we go. There we go. We're gonna burn the heck out of this tree. All right, let's do that one because I like that one. This is, since I don't have much background other than the flames, we're gonna use the shade away technique. Actually, the shade away technique doesn't work as well with a multi-layered fire like I did with the first one. Maybe I'll use the first technique. Nah. But anyway, drawing should be fun, and you should experiment with it. You should have have a lot of fun. I'm sure there's other ways to simulate a visible light source with pencil. Personally, I'm the last one there. You should use on things like I don't know, a lit window on a building in a night scene. That would work really well if you just whited out the window. Oh, we gotta. This is definitely not shaded properly because it's on fire. So we will have to leave some char branches all up in there. Okay. So let's see, which one were we going to do? We were going to do outside to in. Outside to in. Okay, so shade outside to in. Make it darkest on the outside. And work your way in. Grade it in. Get it lighter as it reaches the middle. Alright. And remember, if you have a primary light source like the sun, your fire is going to be a secondary light source. So, I will go into a tutorial on secondary light sources, primary and secondary light sources. But I don't think I'm going to do it on this one because I don't want to cram too much in one tutorial because they get too long and people will get bored. So here we go. 2 good ways. That thing's just consumed in fire. There we go. And we'll make the bottom darker because it hasn't been burned yet. There we are. Fire got out of control and it set the tree on fire. But anyway, mainly you're going to sell a visible light source with the things around it. Just like this one. That was terrible. That was a terrible circling. There we go. Like this one, you're going to sell your visible light source mainly with the things around it. But you do want your light source to look kind of interesting. I think this is my favorite technique. But once again, if you've got a busy background, you got to use this one. Because, because that doesn't affect as much of your background. If you guys want me to go into more detail, different types of light source, since I only did fire here, I certainly will. And just leave a comment, leave a suggestion. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you watching. See you guys next time. Alright, for those of you guys who stayed through the whole tutorial, here at the end I'm showing you, here's a few of my paintings I've made with visible light sources. This will give you an idea of what's going to come when we get to painting, and also to show you a more detailed background on how visible light sources will affect your background. I didn't get into rays or tracing the light path as much in this one, but I will in future episodes, especially when I get to the painting. I hope you enjoy these, and don't forget to check out my book on Amazon.com. It's available on Kindle and in paperback versions. It's a good book. Check it out.